At the end of each month, I take time to plan my goals and sketch out new spreads for the next month. Speaking from experience, it's better to plan life ahead. Then everything tends to flow in the expected direction, rather than chaotic, unpredictable, and sometimes painful. More on planning in the next video, and today let's delve into monthly spreads themselves. To start off right, keep in mind what I mentioned in my last video. It should be somewhere there. All my spreads are really dull, boring and grey in color. I use the bare minimum of my stationery. The advantage of this approach lies in the size and weight of my pencil case. What do I have there? 3 liners, 0.2, 0.5 and 0.8. And 3 brush pens in a shade of dark grey, light grey and light yellow. Yeah, the only bright beam here in the midst of grey realm. I definitely have tons of other stationery, yet it tucked out of sight and locked in the storage, to not bother or distract me from the main gist. I believe that goals should be achieved rather than beautifully sketched out in my notebook. And now let's get started. Well, if you can name it a cover. In my notebook it's a simple hello phrase. And sometimes a tiny doodle tucked somewhere at the bottom of the page. As I said previously, I can't draw at all. I have neither skills nor talent. Yet I can copy pretty well. So every rare drawing you find in my bullet journal has been stolen from someone else and boldly copied into my notebook. And doodles are more of a mood than a rule of thumb. They only pop up from time to time. This cover format makes me extremely happy and suits all my needs technically speaking. It provides a variety to my monthly spread, yet does not take too much time. It's like taking the most with least effort applied. The best possible combination. Next goes the master to-do list of all the important tasks that need to be done this month. In other words, my monthly goals. Every month for over 5 years straight, I keep setting 30 goals at the beginning of the month and not achieving them all at the end, yet keep trying my best. The spread format is quite simple. 30 rectangles in 3 columns. Each column has 10 goals of the same priority. Urgent, important and small wishes. Tasks that would be nice to cross out, although it's not a big deal to fail them. I put down the numbers at the moment the goal is achieved, and then highlight the left spine of the rectangle. The spread looks a bit incomplete at the start, but that's exactly what I want to feel, to create a starting push. Want to add more colors? Do the work first. On the right side I place a spread named One Thing. Here at the end of each day I write down one line, my biggest win of the day. One completed task that should be related to the goal on the left. That's why these two spreads are cobbled together, back to back. The spread format is simple. Put calendar days and weekdays in a column, draw a vertical line, and highlight weekend. Then fill in one line every night before going to bed. It's like looking back and taking stock of the day. We all have only 24 hours. It's the same 1440 minutes for all of us. What we make out of these numbers is the lasting difference. The meaning behind this spread is to focus on the important task and live each day with a purpose. Not just another one in the line, but to make it count. I can complete 50 tasks by the evening and even feel glorious of myself. But if none of them relates to any goal on the left, this will be only an illusion of a success. At the end of the day, being busy does not mean being productive. Sleep log. The same format as for the One Thing spread. Calendar days and weekdays in a column, a vertical line, then a series of hour markers, and the last column total hours of sleep. 7 hours is a mandatory thing, kind of low. If it happens to be less, I'll go to bed earlier that day. Happens to be more, I'll stay up a bit longer and do more work. It's always a balance. The finishing touch is the sleep funnel, when it's best to go to bed and wake up to be as productive and efficient as possible. Here in London my schedule has shifted a bit to the left. Well, work does not start too early, only between 9 and 10. But I try to spend a few morning hours doing my side hustle, YouTube, like writing a new script, filming B-rolls and so on. In other words, you have to pay for your dream. And I decided to sacrifice hours of morning sleep in order to fulfill my dream of becoming a YouTuber. On the flip side, Google breakfast pay me back every morning in a quite delicious way. God, I love them. On the right side is my spot tracker. The format is again the same as for the sleep log. Only instead of the hour markers, a series of exercises that I commit to do every day this month. The last column is my running tracker. Here I put how many miles I ran this day. The only strict rule here is 2 days rule. I do not allow myself to take off more than 1 day in a row. Yep, I became a grown-up to come up with my own life rules, which I literally hated back as a child. Who would have told me this when I was a kid? Back to running. I usually run 8-10 miles in one go. So more than 2 days of running back to back is a lot for me. I'll just pass out and pretend to be a broccoli that is chilling down on the couch. So sometimes for the sake of well-being I replace running with a short swim in the nearby pool or a long walk in the Regent Park, which doesn't drain too much energy out of me, yet it's still a good workout. Habit tracker. You won't find it in my notebooks. I have been sketching out large habit trackers for ages, sometimes over several pages. And one day I just realized that it took more time than it paid off. So, as for now, all my habits live in Todoist, in a separate project, divided into 3 groups: morning, afternoon and evening. If you'd like more details, let me know in the comment section down below, and we are moving on. The same format for almost 2 years. Each week is divided into 3 parts: master to-do list, a list of big goals that I plan to achieve in the next 7 days. Then weekdays. Each day has 2 lists of tasks, personal and work. Well, this is the only place where I split tasks by area. And at the tail end, a column with reflection that I fill out as the week progresses. My wins, my failures, events, memories, everything that happened this week. Short and to the point. In the long run, this third part is a gold nugget, especially in terms of an annual review. Days come and go. We never see them in the rush of life. And this column, stops the clock and cleans the surface. Was it a good year? What have I done so far? Everything is here in these 52 thin short columns. Nothing can be hidden. Last spread, monthly review. It's like a weekly review column, yet for the entire month. At the beginning, it's a blank slate. As month progresses, I draw clouds of text with my big wins. In my humble opinion, it's very critical to go easier on yourself and credit yourself for even small victories. If not us, who else then? Most of the time, the people around us do not care. They have pretty much on their own plates to deal with. So every new little cloud gives me the necessary push to keep going. As an extra bonus for each cloud, I reward myself with a small gift. In recent days, this is a new Lego building set from the Harry Potter collection. Well, it's time to confess, I am a big fan of Harry Potter. Movies, books, and now a collection of buildable models. Whatever sparks joy inside of you. You might notice some blank pages in between. Well, most of the time they fill up on the road. Sometimes there is a big month goal that demands a separate tracker to track progress. Sometimes a new idea pops up into my head and I run an experiment on it. If nothing like that happens, I just leave them blank. Or sketch out a doodle, but often leave them blank. And that is it. No doodles, short and simple, boring and dull. But I really enjoy my spreads, and they work. At the end of the day, it's all what I need from my bullet journal. Off you go!